Towson version of fake football, but certainly for the guys out there getting it done on Thursday night, playing for an opportunity to play in the league. This guy knows that opportunity. He is the Cajun Can, and we welcome Bobby Hebert back onto the program live from one of our favorite places down in New Orleans, where we once had a good time as the Ravens won their championship down there a few years ago. He is Bobby Hebert 3 on Twitter, and restaurants and spices and quarterbacking. And what kind of football are we going to see down there this fall, Bobby?
Well, I don't know. I think it might be the same old song and dance. Now, the defense has been unbelievable in the preseason. But again, slow your roll. It is preseason. But I don't know. They look like a 500 team. I think Drew Brees is still going to, have a top 5 offense or lead a top 5 offense. And, the worst they've ever finished over a decade has been number 6. And 5 out of the first 9 years, they were number 1. And so you look scoring offense, they were only behind the Falcons last year, but can they stop anyone? It's kind of we score, you score with a track meet type game, then you win one, you lose one. But what got the fans encouraged, the Who Dat Nation in New Orleans, is what they've done defensively. They only given up 29% as far as conversion rate third down. If you're in the low 30s, you'd be leading the league. That's outstanding. And then also only giving up 2.5 yards a rush in 3 games. So, I don't know. I mean, if you look at it, 8 quarters now, defense has not given up a touchdown. They have 16 sacks. So, I mean, the fans are like saying, whoa, is this the second coming? Back when I played the late 80s, early 90s of the Dome Patrol, I said, I don't think so. But they have made some additions in A.J. Klein, who came over from Carolina. You haven't heard of him because he was always backing up Luke Kuechly and took advantage of his opportunity when Kuechly went down with a concussion. And then Manti Te'o looks like he's healthy. Maybe he could contribute and be their first down middle linebacker, especially to stop the run. So Cam Jordan looks like the legit player that could start for any team at defensive end. If you look at it, he probably doesn't get the recognition that he deserves because he didn't have those 11, 12 sacks. The times he had back-to-back big seasons when Junior Gillette was opposite of him and they both had double-digit sacks. But as far as him playing against the run, first, second, third down, he's about as good as it gets. And also they have a safety in Kenny Vaccaro, who's a hybrid type safety that every NFL team wants now. He's too small to be a linebacker, but big enough to be a safety. He could play in the box, can guard a slot receiver, play deep middle. So realistically on defense, I'd say they have a couple of players that all NFL teams will want. But be interesting to see Monday night to kick off the season in Minnesota. Adrian Peterson is going to be going back to his old team. So the schedule makers did not make it easy on the Saints. When you look at it, when you got to go Monday night at Minnesota, then the first home game, you got the Patriots coming to town, the world champs. Then you got to go at Carolina and Cam Newton. Then you go to London to play the Dolphins and Jay Cutler. Now, so they cannot afford to get off to a slow start, but we'll just have to wait and see because I think if they can be at least 2-2, they'll be in the thick of things and possibly have a chance to get to double-digit wins and get to the playoffs.
Bob, you guys played over in London yet?
Yeah. They've this night actually Drew beat his old team, the San Diego Chargers. When they were San Diego, now the L.A. Chargers. So, they've had success in London. That has not been, like a thorn in their side where, making the trip. They've handled themselves well and played well in London. So I don't think that'll truly be a neutral site. And can they get after Jay Cutler? I think that's going to be key. But I think the offense will have success. And even without Brandon Cooks, who went to the Patriots, Michael Thomas led all rookie receivers. The numbers he put up was outstanding. But if you look at Drew, he always spreads the ball around, spreads the wealth. 8, 9, 10, 11 different receivers catch passes during the game. So everyone's anticipating the offense to keep clicking. Now the defense can get at least to the middle of the pack and not be dead last in the league like they were last year. Stopping the pass. So, but you have to disrupt the opposing quarterback. So hopefully they can get a pass rush, and that's what they're kind of counting on.
Bobby, you're a quarterback, and you know what it feels like to be old. I mean, is it amazing what Breeze is doing? And certainly not just him, what Tom Brady is doing. I mean, we're waiting on Joe Flacco here, and in the local parlance, 32, having some lower back problems, don't know much about it, not on the field, not practicing, and yet, in New Orleans, everyone I talked to this week, it's, hey, Breeze is going to be Breeze. That's who he's always been, and Brady's going to be Brady, and look at what he did 8 months ago, and, at some point, there's a drop at that point in your life, no matter who you are, but it does feel like in these two guys, we're talking about sort of timeless and ageless in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, I think the rule changes help them, how they don't finish, step and a half to hit the quarterback. That helps. And plus, the way they take care of their bodies, both Tom Brady and Drew, they almost, I guess, seem like they're about 10 years younger. Instead of late 30s, 40, they're about 29, 30 years of age. And so I still think they have something definitely left in the tank, and the NFL's hoping some young guys can start working out the future Derek Carrs and all. They need a couple of handful of those type players, but supply and demand again. That's why with Drew Brees, even next year, he can demand. You look at the contract. Matthew Stafford had what, 90-something million guaranteed, but you have to look at his age. He got that going for him. But with Drew, he's still a $25 million a year quarterback, even though he's almost 40. That's just a market, supply and demand. And, these old guys are showing how it's done, how to be a professional. But it'll be interesting to see that vacuum when a number of those older guys do retire, where you have 5 or 6 guys you have to replace, and I don't think you see that level of play. What's troubling is they're not developing quarterbacks in high school and college. And because high school coaches, sometimes they just put the best athlete at quarterback and they run that shotgun, the pistol, the read option, and they learn 5 or 6 things they don't learn about taking the ball into the center, reading defenses. And even happens in college where you have, there's not too many Sam Darnolds like you see out at USC. And it'll be interesting how the game's going to change, because I don't know if there'll be enough of those guys that could truly know how to attack a top NFL defense. And what ends up happening with those kind of quarterbacks is they get so beat up. I mean, I think that affected Cam Newton last year, where he was very aggressive running the ball. Well, the Broncos knocked the crap out of him like 4 or 5 times. He's out of the pocket, and they treat him like a running back. And I think that's just the way football is. Look at RG3 trying to make home run type, runs, or instead of maybe taking 15, 20 yards, he's trying to go for 60, take it to the house, and he just got so beat up that he never was the same after his rookie year. It's great that you can make plays with your feet, like the Dak Prescotts or whoever. When you look at those young quarterbacks who can move around, but you still got to be able to make throws from the pocket and learn how to read defense, because that's how you ultimately going to have a long career and have success.
He is Bobby Hebert, 3 out on Twitter and doing sports radio down there for as long as we've been doing it around here at WWL down in New Orleans. Boy, these are tough to watch, these preseason games, right? I mean, especially the fourth one. I'm not going to see a whole lot out there that matters too much, right?
Yeah, I mean, I look, it's like almost shoot me. I'm like, oh. But, for some players, this is their Super Bowl. There's always a handful of guys that could catch the coach's eyes or catch some other team. And considering they only have one cut date now, you're probably going to see on every team maybe 2 or 3 players that they weren't even participating in the OTAs, minicamp, or training camp, and now they're on the roster because they're better than what that particular team had. I know, just looking back, Scott Shanley, all of a sudden Seminole, a linebacker, when he became a part of the Saints. Look at last year. Sterling Moore, B.W. Webb, they weren't even having, all of a sudden they're starting for the Saints in the secondary. So you're going to see those kind of players. It's all about opportunity and trying to catch the coach's eyes, that last preseason game. I think with the new CBA coming up, what they need to do in the best interest of the fans, I think the players, bang for your buck, is have 2 preseason games, one kind of like the third one, when you play in the veterans, getting ready for the season, and one of them with a lot of the young players and trying to, see what they can do, and then get to 18 games and have a regular season. Why would fans be against that? 2 more meaningful games now. It'll be interesting to see how the players, and it's a give and take thing where, if you get, let's say you get paid $100,000 a game, and you'd be making 1.6 million. So now if you play 18, then you get 1.8. So get paid for 18 games and not spreading it out. The players will never go for that, obviously. And I think also a 60-man roster. You have to increase the roster. I mean, it would give more opportunities, more jobs to players. And then obviously with the depth would help you with special teams and all that. So there's a lot of changes I still think we're going to see down the road. And I don't see them sticking to 4 preseason games, or even 5 when you count the Hall of Fame game for the Cowboys and the Cardinals this year.
Bobby, let's get this over with, and I'll get out of this thing alive and healthy. And we will be watching you guys play on that Monday night. And I do appreciate you making time, as you always do, when we get together, man. Send me some of those char-grilled oysters up here, some fried shrimp, something good from down there, man. I appreciate the time, as always.
Well, thanks for having me. I always look at New Orleans and Baltimore as like brothers, port cities. So that's why I always appreciate talking to the Ravens and the people that support the Ravens, because that's blue-collar fans, and that's what I'm all about.
Bobby, I tell you what, we had a good time down there a couple years ago when we won our Super Bowl down there, and nobody there felt like they got their feelings hurt about the 49ers losing. And hey, we had Jacoby Jones, we had Ed Reed, we had some local guys there, so it was a good little hootenanny down there.
Yeah, it was great, and I tell you what, it'd be interesting to see the Ravens and Coach Harbaugh, because it's kind of like the same boat as Sean Payton, where you can win a Super Bowl, but then you have to have that consistency and make the playoffs, or, what have you done for me lately? That's how you judge. So I think somewhat both Coach John Harbaugh, who I think is awesome, and Sean Payton, they both on the hot seat because, every year 6 to 7, 8 NFL coaches get fired, but I don't know who can you replace that could be better, but the bottom line is you have to win. It's all about production.
Hey, man, we will see you on the other side. Keep the faith down there, and let's have a good season here. Appreciate the time, Bobby.
All right, thanks for having me.
Bobby Hebert3 is the way to find him out on Twitter. It's always a pleasure to talk a little football with him out there, as well as his restaurant down there in Metairie. You can find him out at WWL in New Orleans as well. The Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert toyoing us. You can find me out on the BuyAToyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. Our morning newspaper delivers to your email inbox digitally. It's free every single morning. You need to be on it. You get all of our headlines and all of our content. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. Breaking news is going to happen over the weekend as we're paring the rosters down on the Ravens, picking the rosters up with the Orioles, and there's going to be moves and maneuverings. You'll want to be on the WNST text service. It's free. It's easy. You sign up once. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Of course, Dennis Colatzos will be with you on Thursday, driving you home from 3 until 5. It is the SSV on WNST. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me, and settle in for some Peter Principles this weekend as well around here on the AM 1570 side of things as we prepare for Labor Day weekend. Meaningful Oriole baseball, which we're all appreciative for, and a chance to beat the damned Yankees next week and beat the damn Bengals the week after that, and the Browns and the Steelers in Jacksonville. By the way, if you're headed over to London, we are throwing a massive party on Saturday at the Fox at XL in the Docklands of East London. Pints, fish and chips. We are taking the cable cars across the Thames to the O2 Arena in Moss as a purple group. Join us. It will be fun. Quoth the Raven, or something like that. Go to the Churchill Museum, too. It's cool. I'm Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.